Alrighty, okay, good afternoon, everybody. I call this meeting order, excuse me. Okay, the Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District number 35 Governing Board calls this meeting to order on this April 14th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Governing Boardroom District Office 570, Camino Lito Galindo, Rio Rico, Arizona. Can we please stand for the pledge, please? Mr. Ramirez, can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everybody. We have roll call. Ms. Alma de la Riva. Present. Mr. Brad Beach.
Present.
Mr. Ramirez, Rene
Here.
Ramirez here. Mr. Ben Guerrero.
Here.
And I'm Lourdes Vasquez. I'm here. We do have a quorum. Adoption of the agenda.
No recommended changes.
There's no recommended changes, so we do not need to make a motion, right?
Yeah,
Okay, do I have a motion, please?
Motion to accept the agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, ayes have it. Call to the public. Do we have?
Do we have a call to the?
We have two people, right? Okay, I'm going to be reading. Members of the public wishing to address the board on matters within the jurisdiction of the board are required to complete the appropriate request to speak form and submit the completed form to the board secretary prior to the meeting. At the conclusion of the call to the public, individual members of the board may only respond to criticism, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. However, board members shall not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion, notice for discussion and legal action. Public comments should be limited to 3 minutes or less. And the board requests that the public refrain from the use of speech or language that is offensive or inappropriate. Pursuant to policy 1-302, the president will limit discussion whenever she or he deems such action appropriate to the proper conduct of this meeting. I know we have several people, so we are going to ask one person at a time. I have Mr. Jose Granados. Please come up. And we will put a timer on. There's 3 minutes for you. Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Well, I've never really been at a school board meeting, so I don't really know how this works. But we are a representation on come to with our knowledge that our coach, our children's coach for the Rio Rico baseball team, Mr. Teed, has been asked to stand down at the end of the season. Us as parents and on behalf of our students, because obviously they can't be here right now because they have a game. We just want to have representation on his behalf, you know. I don't know the things that were behind that decision that was made for him. It's not really clear, but there's no coaches right now at the moment. There's no one set up for summer coaching, you know, and we've had a substantial positive outcome with our kids, you know, with the type of coaching style that the gentleman has provided to our kids. They've been very engaged. I don't know if you guys have seen, you know, the things that have been done in the field. Our kids have participated in more tournaments than I've ever seen in my son's career, you know, and he's just a sophomore. So pretty much out here just asking for you guys to take a look into that particular situation, that case. I know a lot of the parents got together with Mr. Laughlin yesterday, voiced their opinions, voiced pretty much the reasoning on why we believe Mr. Laughlin, not Mr. Laughlin, Mr. Coach Teed should, you know, continue to coach our kids. Also, like I said, I don't know what's behind this. I'm sure our counterparts here will speak on that behalf as well. But the guy's a great coach, you know. It's hard to handle preteens, you know, semi-adults, you know, kids are going to be kids. I'm sure all of you guys have gone through it, especially teachers, principals. You know, sometimes we kind of put our neck out there for our kids and for our students and, you know, for our employees and whatnot. And, you know, sometimes por uno la pagan todos at the end of the day, but, you know, he has very good intentions and all of the parents, with the exception of a couple that are in this room, opposed to that particular, motion to keep that gentleman here with us. So we don't mind you guys looking into that case, and you have all the baseball player support from varsity to Navy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Appreciate it. The next person will be, Steve Cota. Mr. Cota. Okay, and there are 3 minutes on the clock. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me address you. Members of the board, I'm addressing you today out of serious concern regarding an incident that involved my child during a recent baseball practice. An incident that should have never been handled the way it was. My child sustained a severe injury, including excessive bleeding, and what was later confirmed to be a broken jaw. This was not a minor situation. It was a clear medical emergency that required immediate responsible adult intervention. Instead, the coach allowed my injured child to leave and drive while in this condition. I want to be very clear. This represents a significant failure in judgment, duty of care, and basic safety protocol. When a child is seriously injured under the supervision of an organization, the responsibility lies with the adults present to ensure the child receives proper medical attention immediately. Allowing an injured minor bleeding heavily with a serious fracture to operate a vehicle is not only negligent, it is dangerous to the child and to other people on the roadway. This situation raises urgent questions. What protocols are currently in place for handling the injuries? Are coaches properly trained to recognize medical emergencies? Why was emergency medical assistance not called? Why were parents not immediately notified? There must be accountability, but more importantly, there must be change. I'm asking this board to take immediate action, implement and enforce clear emergency response procedures, require mandatory training for all coaches and staff, and first aid and injury assessment. Establish strict rules that prohibit injured players, especially minors, from leaving without proper medical clearance and parental notification. And ensure that any future incidents are handled with the seriousness and care they demand. I urge you to treat this matter with the gravity it deserves and to take decisive steps to ensure the safety of every child in the program. After reading the statement, this is not the first time this coach has put the kids in dangerous situations. I'm sure the board has information that clearly demonstrates this coach is irresponsible. This coach placed the kids in several occasions in great danger. This is not personal. I do not wish Coach T to lose his job, but I do.
I apologize, but it is over. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Okay, all righty. Moving on, presentations and recognition. And it's community recognition, the Rio Rico Rotary Club, Dr. Linderville.
Madam President, I'd like to invite Andra Bailo up, community outreach coordinator, to recognize the Rotary.
Thank you, Dr. Linderville. Good afternoon, Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Linderville. So today we are proud to recognize a truly valued community partner, the Rio Rico. Some of our members are present here today. I see them in the audience and in the front row. For many years, this organization has gone above and beyond in support for our students and staff, whether it's donating toys during our Stuff the Bus event, interviewing seniors, and awarding thousands of dollars in scholarships. Their impact has been both meaningful and far-reaching. We provided school supplies during our back to school blitz, recognized our outstanding students and staff of the month at their meetings for years on end, celebrated our athletic programs, and actively participated in events like our annual STEAM night. Simply put, we can always count on the Rio Rico Rotary Club to show up, to give back, and to make a difference. Having been a member for this club for about 1.5 years now on behalf of the school district, I have seen firsthand the dedication, the generosity, and the genuine care its members have for our students and families. So it's truly an honor to recognize the Rio Rico Rotary Club here in front of our governing board and to extend our sincere appreciation for all that they do. I'm going to invite Mr. Tony Bartola, President of Rio Rico Rotary, to come up and say a few words next.
Thank you very much. It's a big honor to be recognized by the school. And as most of you know from the Rotary Club, this is not, we don't do that for that. We do that because we support the community, we support the kids. And I'd just like to recognize the Rotarians. In the room, we have quite a bit. First, Lieutenant Dave Verdugo is a member of our club, and Audra and Mimi Renteria, Principal Renteria, is also representation for the school district. This she was, now she's representing the Tubac Rotary Club, which is our sister club. Well, with us today, we have Mr. Todd Brown, who's been with us from almost the very beginning, and it is him that is responsible for the over $300,000 in scholarships that have been awarded Rio Rico High School students. We have Mr. Scott Broom, and of course, everybody knows Fanny, Ms. Teresa Estrain, back in the back, Mr. Frank Alando. So again, thank you so very much.
We have anything from our board, Ms. Alma de la Riva?
Yes, for your continued involvement and continued dedication to our community. Thank you. I know besides all the wonderful things that Audra mentioned, I also know that you do the Thanksgiving meals, the bikes, the dictionaries for our third graders. That is very, very much appreciated. For all that you do, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Brad Beach?
Yeah, thanks for all the support for our students, community, teachers. You guys are at every event. I was down at Garrett's during Christmas and I always see John Fanning there and Tony and everybody and Mr. Brown. But you guys are committed to our community as well as our school district. And I remember when my wrestlers needed a little financial support to go back to North Dakota, you guys were there for them. I know when our basketball team needed a 6'4" German student, you guys somehow found one.
6'5".
We have never done that.
No, thanks for all you do. You guys go above and beyond, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beach. Mr. Ramirez?
Hope you don't blow any kisses on me, John, please. I'm shaking up hands and kissing up babies, so. But, wow, Mr. Brown, I didn't know that you had raised that much money. That's a lot. That's impressive. But I appreciate all that all of you guys do in the Rotary. And I didn't know there were so many people here in the governing boardroom that are part of that Rotary. So that's interesting, but thank you. As Alma said, thank you for all that you do for the community, all the service, the hard work that you put into it. It's all on a volunteer basis and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said, thank you so much for everything you guys do. And, you know, I mean, I just can't say enough, you know, you guys do so many different things, some things I didn't even know about till she pointed out, but it's amazing and it's appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And for me, the same thing. It's like, you know, you guys go always above and beyond. I mean, Papa John, you're always there. You know that you're always everywhere. You know, Mr. Brown, I've known you forever since my son and your son were all, you know, in school and everything. And you guys do so much for our kids, for our students, for our, you know, for our community that, like they said, there's no way that we can really thank you except thank you. Thank you so much for everything that our kids benefit from all your hard work. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Papa John. I do get that one. That one's mine. Stop it. Anyway. All right.
I think he wants to invite our governing board members to an upcoming event as well. Yes, and I'll let him explain a little bit more.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. This Saturday, we are bringing back a Rotary event that happened 30+ years ago, Community Day. and invite all of the school board to come and see. The school district is going to be participating. Santa Cruz County is going to be participating. Unisource, Liberty Water, Mariposa, South 32, and numerous community organizations and nonprofits and booster clubs will be there providing activities and things for all of the kids and all the adults. And we kick it off with a pancake breakfast. Pancake breakfast. So it's a day for the entire community of Rio Rico to get together with the organizations that are the most influential in the town. And we thank the school board, the school district, especially Audra. She's been working really hard on getting everybody to come out there, and we're looking forward to a very fun day. So please come and join us at the fitness center this Saturday, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
That was my question. For what time? When and where?
There'll be a dunk tank, and Mr. Fanning will be in.
9 to 8 o'clock.
Oh, my goodness. It starts at 9 o'clock. Eight pancake.
We'll invite the Rotary members to stand up. We'll take a group picture and I'll invite Dr. Lunderville to come up and present.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot Trish had on. What the? I'm in trouble. I am in trouble.
It's fine.
If you can just one of
Sorry.
Already the eight.
This parent who's
I am so sorry. Oh.
Right, Beach, is your moment to photobomb.
Just tell him short ones in front.
All right, sure.
Oh,
Thank you.
you
wanna-
everybody say.
I did not.
I didn't say, she said it.
One, two, three. Perfect.
Thank you. Good job. Good job.
I have a lot of work.
Right. I hope a lot of people attend. All righty.
Yes.
Moving on, B, community recognition, El Ranchito Market, Dr. Lunderville.
Thank you, Madam President. We can give the Rotary a few minutes if they would like to exit, or if anyone else would like to. All right, we'd like to invite Ms. Renteria up, the principal of San Cayetano, to talk about El Rancho Market.
Good evening, Madam President, First Board, Dr. Lunderville, and Ms. Brown. I'm excited this evening to invite El Ranchito Market on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Herman. We have Mr. and Mrs. Orozco. They have just been such a wonderful part of our students' lives. So they do annually host, it's been 6 years now, the toy drive at Ranchito Market. And so they are absolutely the epitome of our Portrait of a Graduate attribute of what it is to be an engaged citizen. So they host this event. It's honestly such a wonderful event for all of our families to attend. They have Santa Claus. It's an opportunity for vendors to participate and just really all around have a wonderful time. And throughout that, by the end of the evening, they end up having roughly about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of toys. And they donate those specifically to San Cayetano because those families are within our boundaries. And so not only do our students wake up with maybe one extra toy, sometimes it's a whole tree full underneath. And so we're so grateful to them. They make such a difference in our students' lives. And again, being truly engaged citizens, we're very grateful to them. Their children also go to San Cayetano. So we're super grateful for the opportunity and really appreciate the trust that they instill in us to have their children there with us. But we really just wanted to thank them for being such a wonderful part of our community and all that they give. So.
We just wanted to thank the community, for the support themselves, and we realize, the children are the future. So we see it as that event is just for all of those kids, all of those, memories, all of those little things that count in that, season, just because a lot of them may not be able to receive those things. So we always think about what is it Not that it's everything, but it's everything to a child at that time. So it's just something great for us to do every year. We look forward to it, and I just hope that it gets bigger every year so that we can give to more children, and just 'tis the season.
Again, this Ranchito Market was started by her mother, Maricela, and Tomas Herman. It had been a dream of hers since she was a little girl. We passed as a community. So again, we just wanted to thank you all again for the contribution you guys have given to us, the community, back to us. So
The school.
again, on behalf of them, we just want to extend our thanks always to all the continued support that we receive from you guys. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good job. Comments from the board, Ms. Alma de la Riva?
Yes, thank you. I was really truly unaware that Ranchito Market was doing this kind of event. So it just goes to show that it's people in our community, people as yourselves, that makes us a wonderful community. So we appreciate it from the bottom of our heart. Thank you very much for what you do. And we really do hope you continue doing it. And good luck to you and Ranchito Market.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brad Beach.
I could have sworn I had a student. So I recognize you. Wow.
Oh,
Well, I started teaching when I was 17.
I know, I remember that, yeah. It's negative 17 when he started teaching.
He taught me when I was 17.
He's a real precocious kind.
No, I just want to thank all that you do for our community, especially with this toy drive. I'm sure when these toys are passed out, just to see that sparkle in that little kid's eyes that might not have received a present, or maybe they're come from that received tons of presents. But anytime you receive something like that, it puts a smile on their face, and that a smile is worth a million words, you know. ¿Qué más? As I drive out there to see my daughter, she lives all there, way out there in where's the Morning Star Ranch?
Pat Josefina.
I stopped by her store, and yeah, the beef jerky's good, the beverages are cold, and but it's a perfect location because there's no stores out there. And so you serve a part of our community that needs a store like that. So I appreciate that aspect of your business also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beach.
Yep.
Mr. Rene Ramirez?
Thank you, Madam President. So, yeah, just like he said, you bring a lot of joy into those kids' hearts, you know, and imagine they're saying that, you know, they wake up with several gifts. Mimi was saying that, you know, they wake up with several. Well, might be that the ones that you got were the only ones that they got. So just imagine all the joy that you bring into a kid's heart. It's just awesome. Your efforts are incommensurable, and we really appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Very much, Mr. Ben Guerrero.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing that event. I've been lucky enough to be a part of toy drives and delivering toys and stuff like that. It's such a rewarding thing to do. So I'm sure you guys get a lot of joy out of it. It is a lot of work, and we appreciate you guys so much. The kids appreciate it, please appreciate it, right? The parents and stuff, you know, they might be struggling, and it goes a long way. And I've seen it, and the parents are just as appreciative as a kid. So thank you very much. And I love your guys' pizza, by the way.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Guerrero. Well, right now I was asking, I didn't even know that the market existed, really. And I wonder how many people don't know, because I really don't drive that way or anything, you know, there's nothing that, like you say, you go visit your daughter, that's why you know it's there. I had no idea. I was asking Dr. Lunderville, where is this little place, you know, but now I see you even have pizza, you even have all of this other stuff. Congratulations. And yeah, so then, you know, we need to get this out, you know, so that people can, you know, really, really take advantage of what you guys are offering besides everything else that you guys are offering, which is amazing, which is fantastic. Our kids are so lucky to have you guys here, and congratulations. And I'm glad that your kids are in our district, and that, you know, and that you guys are doing such a wonderful, you know, job to make a difference in a lot of these kids, because, like, you know, people know that not everybody has enough to go around. And with this, at least the kids know, we know that our kids are being taken care of. Even if it's just a little bit, to them, it's the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And we were gonna put it out there, okay, that we need to go visit El Ranchito Market. So thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Moving on, would you like to, you can step out. We'll give you a minute so that you guys can step
Run while
out.
you can.
Thank you.
Hey.
Now when you can, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Hi, Papa John. Bye. All righty, moving on. Fiscal year 2027, the budget update presentation, Dr. Lunderville.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Brown, our CFO, to talk about our budget update for FY 27.
Also, just before we get started and turn it over to Ms. Brown, I just wanted to comment on Ms. Brown's work in this budget. We've been working probably longer than any budget that we've put together. That there's a lot of different factors that go into putting a budget together. Normally, if there is bad news, I'd be doing the presentation. So since Ms. Brown is doing it, there's good news. And so we're very fortunate to have Ms. Brown and our team that's been working again for most of the year to get this budget put together. And there's just a lot of positive things that we're looking forward to sharing. And I don't want to share steal Ms. Brown's thunder, so I'll let her take over and share what we're doing with the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you, Mr. Verdugo. Good evening, Madam President and Mr. Board. It's this time of the year that I come to you with the projection of next year's budget, right? As of today, we do not have a budget from the state. So I've always said this is the time of the year where I feel the most uncomfortable in my role. But rest assured that the projections that I bring to you are based on dollars that we have within our budget today. What does that mean? My budget forecast and recommendations is always based on the funds that we have available and what I am projecting to carry forward for next year. Okay, so that's how I base the projections. Just a little bit about the process. The process of the budget is always with emphasis on student achievement, right? Making sure that all the resources that we have available are pointing towards that goal. We follow the process where we review, plan, and prepare. Then we set instructional priorities. We plan priorities and strategically abandon, sometimes as needed, certain programs or initiatives, as you'll see as I go through the presentation. Then we implement the plan, and then we monitor what we put in place throughout the year. And behind this process, we want to make sure that any actions that we bring to you as recommendations, that they are sustainable. The last thing that I want to do is bring to you a recommendation, for instance, to an increase, and then the next year come back with a decrease. Or we want to make sure that we're able to sustain any of the recommendations that we bring forward. So as part of the budget process, we use what is called the zero-based budgeting, which means that we always review what we have in place. We cannot just afford to keep adding to our budget. So every single year, we have to review any measures that we have in place, costs associated with that measure, and see if we are getting the results that we're hoping, we're providing the services that we want to provide to our staff and students. And if not, that's when we have the conversations to maybe suspend or modify the program if needed.
Could you go back to that slide for just 1 second? I was reading.
Sorry.
I just want to read it. Okay, thank you.
So we start meeting with our site principals and department heads in November or December. The first meeting is to using the zero-based budgeting philosophy, The first meeting is more on a reflection of the resources that they currently have this fiscal year and ask them if what is at their site, what is in their department, is it really pointing and it's helping them move their operation in the direction that they want to take if it's helping them reach their goals. So that's the first step. Then we review enrollment projections and we provide them at the end of the meeting with a budget request form. Also in this meeting, I have the presence of Ms. Padilla. Megan Padilla joins me in this meeting because I mentioned that the basis for her allocation is always student achievement. So the TLA office is an important partner, and it's actually the partner that starts to drive the decisions on the budget. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I'm doing that. Then the next time that we come together, we review and evaluate every budget request that was submitted. Then we solidify the staffing model for each school and department. And then at that point, we draft compensation recommendations. And then we come to you, which would be tonight's board meeting, with recommendations for your review and approval. This is very important because I mentioned this in the past, and that continues to be the case. Over 80% of our budget is dedicated to salaries. So once you approve contracts, once you approve salary increase, you're in essence setting aside over 80% of the budget. Okay? So that's very important too. And then the last step, which is the one when I come back in the summer, is when finally the state releases their budget and provide us with the final budget forms. And then I come and I make everything more formal, right? We have to go through the proposed budget and the adoption of the budget using the state forms. So that's the last step in the process. So the unknowns as we build our budget for the following year is obviously our enrollment, right? We always project enrollment, and I'll be sharing the details behind that projection in a minute, and also the state budget. Not knowing what the state is going to provide us, it's also something that we have to factor into our projections. As we start going through the numbers, please know that today I am not going to be discussing any grants because we don't know what's going to happen with grants for next year. We're going to concentrate only on our major funds, that is our operating fund and our capital fund. Okay. And just to give you an idea of what you find inside each fund, for operating fund, the majority is dedicated to salaries and benefits. And I think I've explained this to you in the past, where salaries and benefits used to be just everything run through payroll. And over the years, we've seen this transition where we bring a lot of our services to a purchase order, to a purchase service. We, in essence, hire an agency to be able to bring certain services to our students. That's where you find the purchase of consumables, our utilities, fuel, and our outsourced contract with facilities. We also have and continue to benefit from the 9% M&O override in that fund. On the other hand, we find the district additional assistance, which is our capital fund. Our capital fund, it is heavily dedicated to our curriculum area, followed by technology, furniture and equipment, uniforms, and vehicles. Okay. Now we're going to start getting into the enrollment projection. The enrollment projection for next school year, I am projecting 3,289 students. Okay. That represents a reduction of 176 students, which equates close to $1 million in M&O. For rollover data, what does that mean? Just the cohort survival, yeah, from one year to the next, plus any new registrations that we have picked up to date, we are at 3,161. So we still have 128 Okay, so, it is not uncommon to see this gap at this time of the year. That gap does not make me nervous. Usually, the behavior in our community is that after the 4th of July celebration, that's when families start to think about coming back to school. Right now, they don't think about kinder registrations. Right now, that's not their priority. But after the 4th of July, that's when we really start to see the movement. And that's when we really start tracking. I don't know if you're already live, I don't know that, but right now, the normal things are now. One data point that we always like to pay attention to is the difference between our graduating seniors and our incoming kindergarten. And that's a drop of 125. I want you to understand that what you're seeing in this slide is not unique to District 35, right? And it's not unique to Arizona. It is the trend that we're seeing nationwide, where enrollment it's declining as a nation. Okay? And we go back to birth rates, and those are declining. As a result, we see the decline in the K-12 industry. So it's nothing that is unique to our district. It's not something that I'm sure you've been reading in the news, a lot of those headlines of district so-and-so is closing school, and district so-and-so is closing another school. And I've been talking about those articles or those news, and I think that many of those districts, and I have respect for a lot of my colleagues that work in those districts, but a lot of districts are not willing to right size their operation as they go from one year to the next. And little by little, they start to go into contingency, because why have the difficult decisions? Why right size? And before they know it, they run out of contingency, and now it's time to start closing buildings. So no one loses enrollment in 1 year to have to close 3 schools, 2 schools, 1 school. Those are significant drops, and they happened very quickly.
Yeah, speaking of contingency, are there still any remnants of ESSER funds that our school has? None at all? Just kind of saying a prayer there.
Yeah, no, we're done with all the ESSER funds, all that one-time federal funding that our district received to address the pandemic. Those are all gone.
Mr. Ramirez, if I may, so the thing that we did during the ESSER funds was that we did one, fiscally try to be as strategic as possible, but we also were able to offset positions for a period of time and put those funds in contingency. So it may not be ESSER funds that are there, but it's still a remnant of the ESSER funds, because we were able to put those funds into our contingency plan.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, I recall, Mr. Verdugo, how we tried to attain as many of them and use them up before they expired, because I know that we have neighboring districts that actually gave money back to the state. They could have used it. So you guys were wise. You're very, very good guardians of those ESSER funds. So thank you.
I'm sorry, a lot of numbers in this slide, but let's try to focus on the 3 columns to the right, which is fiscal 24, 25, and 26. Those are fiscal 26, the year that we're in, makes it the 3rd consecutive year that we see a drop in enrollment. So and you can see that we went from a drop of 75 to a tiny drop of 5. To a drop of 67, and I am not, the numbers that you see on the screen, it's average daily membership. It's not necessarily enrollment, because I'm talking funding, right? And average daily membership is what drives our funding. So another way of how we can look at our AUM at the end of the day, see that we went from the increase And we're starting to follow that trend that everybody else is having. Okay. We're gonna start to get into our numbers. The numbers I'm gonna share with you now is our M&O, maintenance and operating. As far as funding that we have available to fund the recommendations that you have on your agenda tonight. Again, I'm starting with money that we have here today. I'm not gambling whether we're going to receive this or not. So we're looking at a carryover projection of $7 million. Notice that I am not factoring in any new funding, which at a minimum, the state is going to give us a 2% increase. But I'm being very conservative. So I'm not factoring that in. Immediately from the top, we have the set aside for contingency. So we have $4 million that we put aside in a minute. And then we address the cost of the projection in the drop of enrollment of close to $1 million that I mentioned earlier. And then we identify two cost saving measures, which is also part of the budget process, right? So in your right sizing, as I mentioned, the schools, we are right sizing them and we are adjusting the number of teaching FTEs by 3.3. I know that's weird. Those are extra sections that sometimes we allocate to the high school. So district-wide, we are reducing a total of 3 teachers and 2 sections at River High School. Okay, that's what that adds up to 144,625. On top of that, the business office, my department, and the department of Ms. Padilla are going to capture some saving measures through recruitment. We both have a staff member that is retiring next year. So instead of replacing that position, we're going to distribute the duties from those individuals and will be absorbed with the staff, the remaining staff. Okay. So as a result of that, we captured 31,907. Is there any way that you can move that bar? And we'll be able to see the amount. Thank you. Okay. So plus minus, as available, to keep the district moving forward, $2.2 million. That's what we have to go. Okay. I mentioned earlier the items that are in inventory. And we have compensation, which includes salaries, benefits, and stipends. Staffing, obviously, right, the number of positions that we have in place. There's a need to restructure any programs. At this point, we don't have any identified. An example of this last year was the preschool program, right? Remember that we modified the preschool program? We don't have anything for this coming year. And this is where we look at our operating costs in the area of consumables, utilities, and the contract and our outsourced with facilities. All right. So the recommendation in the area of salaries for next year is to approve a 4% increase to all eligible employees. That 4% increase translates to an operating cost of $816,417, right? And please note that the recommendation will exclude those eligible for a reclassification, which you have some of those on your agenda under consent tonight, only if the value of the reclassification is higher than the salary. So, whichever is the we also have a set aside for the minimum wage adjustment that happens in January, and that is very tiny. Right? We don't have a lot of employees that fall under the minimum wage. We try to keep them above the minimum wage, but we still have a significant. In the area of benefits, of around 40, we approved the health insurance and that's new with a 6% increase, which translates to 186,560. And in rental, we have that for the next package, a 5% increase, which translates to 4,900. We are on a rate guarantee for life insurance, so we don't have any increase in that policy for next year. The recommendation is still for the insurance increase for the employee only. Advance, please. Alrighty. Staffing changes. San Cayetano, there are no recommended changes for that site. The same goes for Mountain View. In Calabasas, this is a site that we are right sizing for next year. We are reducing 2 teaching FTEs. So that'll will cover around 75,152. Why? Because we're using long-term subs. Okay? We're using vacancies. It's not like we're going to go and tell a certified teacher that they do not have a job. Please keep that in mind. And then we are going to repurpose our ISS teacher for an instructional coach. A tiny variance in the cost associated with the change of 345. In Cuatimundi, we received a request to increase the number of contract days to our behavioral coach, and that is the cost associated with that measure. For Rio Rico High School, another site that is being right-sized by 1 teaching FTE and the 2 extra sections that I mentioned to you that equates to 69,000 and change. The administrative support for Rio Rico High School is changing for next year. They're going to 2 assistant principals and 1 assistant to the principal. And the variance in that model is 1,188. Please keep in mind that within our contingency, we always have a set aside for when these registrations come through super high and we have a class size concern on a grade level, then we can bring that into the staffing law. Thank you. In the area of special education, we received a request to add 1 self-contained special education teacher. Also as an initiative to bring in specialized staff such as a speech language pathologist, there is the recommendation to create 5 stipends at $5,000 each. In the area of transportation, we received a request to add 1 driver in training. For Rio Rico High School athletics, we received the request of adding 1 additional assistant coach for track. For the aquatic center, we are adding for the summer months 1 additional lead lifeguard. For Cuatimundi, I mentioned this one already. Yeah. It's an increase in the behavioral coach. It's the same one. Right. I really like this one, I guess. We did it twice.
30 days. 30 days. Just kidding.
The business office, that is the attrition, my part-time employee that is dedicated to the area of food service. She is retiring. And so that is the cost savings for that. And in the area for the TLA office, we have their secretary who is retiring, and that is the cost, the savings associated with that. Advance, please. Thank you. All right. Then we received requests to reclassify a position. Sometimes over time, the responsibilities and duties of certain positions evolve. Other times, the hourly rate or the compensation for those positions, when we compare them to market, they're way below. So sometimes we come to you with a recommendation to reclassify a position, meaning putting them in a higher grade. I never remember ever coming in with a reclassification to lower the grade. It's always to increase the grade for a position. And that is the case with the following 3 positions. So the office specialist in the CTE department, the request is to reclassify that position from an office specialist to a secretary. 1. In the business office, the request is to reclassify the accounting specialist from grade 24 to 26. In transportation, and this is a big one, and I want to stop there for a moment. We did and this initiative came out of the IBB process this year. It was to bring the hourly rate of our bus drivers to market. So we started to look at the hourly rates of our neighboring districts, and in general, the hourly rate of bus drivers across the state. And when we finished, we realized that the average hourly rate in the market for bus drivers is $18.89. That is as their starting pay. When our starting pay in our district for bus drivers is $15.85. So the recommendation in order to bring those bus drivers closer to market is to reclassify them and bring them from grade 6 to grade 14. And that would put the starting pay for bus drivers at $18.50. It's a big group. So the cost associated with that reclassification, it's $126,700. In that case, that is a prime example of when an employee would receive the reclassification versus the increase. Because the reclassification for the bus driver gives them more money than just taking the salary increase recommendation for next year. Okay, that's just one example. Right. Moving away from staffing and compensation, now sometimes there is the need to allocate more funds to departments to fund certain initiatives, or their cost of their consumables or their professional development plan has increased, or their needs have changed. So in this case, we are giving the Human Resources Department an allocation of $20,000 to fund an initiative for Grow Your Own in our district. That is to get teachers certified through American Intercontinental University. Yes, thank you. And for the Office of the Superintendent, we are providing an increase of $2,000 for travel. For the governing board, an increase of $9,100, an allocation for professional development. High school athletics. So we invested a lot of millions of dollars in athletics out of our bond. Now it's time to start maintaining all of those millions of dollars in investments that we did. And this $25,000 is going to go for maintenance of the track. Okay. For the communications department, it's $10,000 more for the allocation of professional development, and also the rebranding. Not too long ago, the board approved the strategic plan, and if you remember, it brings in some new branding, right? Well, now we need to fund that initiative, so it's embedded in this $10,000 that would be part of the first phase to start that rebranding for the district. Please. Thank you. We are currently reviewing the energy performance contract, as Mr. Verdugo has mentioned in the past. But that energy performance contract does not include any initiatives dealing with water conservation. Therefore, we are expecting an increase in our water rates. So I am factoring in a $50,000 adjustment to address that increase. Our trust insurance renewal, we have not received the renewal, but I do know that the value of the properties have increased. We have more square footage to cover under insurance, so I am factoring in $45,000. Then also the facilities contract came in with a 3.4% increase, which translates to $76,032 more. All right, that concludes the operating fund. Okay. I'm going to move on now to the capital fund. In the capital fund, the projected carryover is $1,100,000. The fiscal 27 allocation, I am projecting a little bit over $2 million. Right from the top, I think $1 million contingency. Okay? And it leaves us with $2.1 million to work for the year. Next slide. The items that you're seeing on the screen are just new items. All of the departments that I'm going to go through have other items that are already funded. And we have softwares that are already in place. Those are already funded and accounted for in our budget. And this is only new requests that came as part of the budget process for next year, or things that were in our cycle to replace, which is the case of curriculum. So in our curriculum rotation, next year we will be moving forward with the K-8 science adoption. Then we have middle school English language development curriculum materials. We will be transitioning to a new software, which is called subject.com. Any questions on what that software does? Talk to Megan. We also have School Links, which is a subscription for the development of the initiative with Portrait of a Graduate. And we are going to equip 20% of classrooms where we're going to update them to have interactive display boards. We are going to be replacing Continuity with subject.com for the sum of that request, a little bit over $500,000, which was approved. In the area of technology, we will be increasing our investment by $169,000. We will be replacing an outdated color printer here at the teacher's office. We will be working in the following three: the Cisco telephone licensing, the Cisco wireless licensing, and the firewall. Those are all E-rate, so forth, and the switches. Those are projects that are under the E-rate program that we have in our district. In our rotation schedule for copier replacements, we have a non-committee who will be a new copier. We have a request to introduce a printer or scanner for the mechanics shop and transportation. Also for transportation, some TV monitors to be able to track our buses, and also a GPS 6 units to equip our buses for our bus drivers when they go on trips. In the area of communication, we received a request to fund a subscription for video editing and social media content. $200. Next slide. In the area of athletics, we are going to move forward with gyms at Rio Rico High School. Both the main gym and the auxiliary gym will be receiving new scoreboards. The main gym, it's not only the scoreboard, but it's some shot clocks and also a video. Okay, the sum of that is over $200,000. Next slide. For furniture, we have two office chairs here at the district office and one here for the governing board that are going to be replaced. We are replacing the reception chairs at the Welcome Center, and also we are replacing outdated refrigerators at the teacher lounges at Rio Rico High School. The sum of that is $7,779. In the area of facilities. In facilities, we will be investing in a gator for grounds. We'll also be buying a mountain sprayer. I'm not sure what that does. Also a drain camera with monitoring system. And for security reasons, for Rio Rico High School cafeteria and bookstore buildings, we need to introduce some window coverings, which currently we don't have any. It's important, as you know, for security, so that is also a big priority for us. We will be partnering with Rio Rico High School auxiliary account to upgrade the marquee of Rio Rico High School. And we are also working with facilities because it is the turn of Rio Rico High School to the flooring rotation, and we have $300,000 allocated towards that rotation. So around $347,000 going in the area of facilities. Next slide. Right. You have to make some compromises in order to fund what I just shared with you, which is above and beyond other measures that we have in place. So for next year, we are going to put on hold the bus rotation. We also every year fund or allocate $75,000 for capital request. That is during the course of the year, if something comes up and it's in the area of capital, for this coming year, that'll be put on pause for 1 year. And the other one that I would like Mr. Verdugo, if he wants to elaborate on this one, is we're reducing the set aside of our one-to-one technology initiative by 100,000. Mr. Verdugo, you're still?
Yes. So with the reduction for the one-to-one, we are exploring, is that what we really should be doing? So the TLA office and Ms. Padilla is working with their team to review how we're using one-to-one technology, and do we want to continue with one-to-one? Because there's been a lot of recent studies that show that it's not having the impact that it should with learning. So we want to make sure that when we invest, that it's something that is going to be positive and get the outcomes we want. So we put a hold on it for this year so that we can evaluate what we're doing with technology moving forward, and then we'll make a decision in a year from now. So it's something that the TLA office, I know, has already started and starting to do an in-depth study. And so we're looking forward to seeing what that brings. And if it says that technology is still one-to-one, then we'll bring that back, but we're putting on a hold for this year.
It'll be one-to-one next school year. It's just.
The allocation, we're not thinking for that. We're not moving away from one-to-one model next school year.
Yeah. Again, to clarify, technology is still there. It's just for renewal of technology, because we are starting to, as Mr. Ramirez was talking about the ESSER funds, we use some to move quickly into one-to-one because we had that opportunity. And so some of the use of life for those computers or Chromebooks is going to be hitting us pretty soon. And so we've had a set aside anticipating that technology cliff. And so we want to make sure that we are prepared for it. But at the same time, right now, do we want to cut back and utilize whether it be Chromebook carts in the classrooms or limit that use? Because again, technology is a tool, and we want our students to have those tools. But we want to make sure that we are getting the biggest bang for our buck. And so that's one of the things that we'll be exploring this next year.
I believe that brings us to the end of the presentation.
All righty. Any questions from the board, Alma de la Riva?
None for me, Stella. Thank you.
Mr. Beach?
Yeah, thanks, Cecilia, for all you do. I know you're very conservative with the budget, but I think because of that, we find money to give raises. We find money for the bus drivers to get raises. Not only that, I think you look at the 2027 budget, but you're also looking 5 years, 10 years down the road. And I know with enrollment, I think it's not till 2030, we're going to see an uptick, hopefully, somewhere around there. So we're sort of treading water until 2030 before we see that. As far as what was it? The 917,000 minus because of the enrollment, if it stays, does that come out of the contingency fund or?
No, it's so the contingency fund is on the top. So I scrape $4 million and then I take so it doesn't hit the contingency.
Okay, so with that reduction, would that mean that we got to cut programs or so everything stays the same?
With the reduction, we just did some right sizing in certain sites, the ones that I described. So, and it basically takes from the funds we have available, $7 million that are carryover. So then minus the $4 million of contingency, minus the projection in the drop of enrollment from there. It's coming from the rollover funds.
Okay.
And then additional the saving measures that we have, which helps us a little bit, and then that gives us the net balance that we have available to fund the system.
Okay. I think the unknown right now is with South 32. I think they're bringing in about 400 families. And I know Patagonia is sort of expensive. Nogales is sort of landlocked, so a lot of those families, I'm hoping, you know, might move out to Rio Rico, but that's unforeseen as far as right now. Yeah.
But and Mr. Beach, just to also clarify with that, with the budget, if that 917 is built in of what we have cash available or M&O available to expend, and what we don't want to do is go more than that. So then that would tap into our contingency. So that would be the only time that we'd have to evaluate. And so I appreciate Ms. Brown always looking to go at the high end. If you look in the previous years, we've projected to have about the similar student loss, and we've made it up quite a bit. So then that ends up putting more back into contingency to roll over, which is hopefully what will happen again this year. But we always budget on the high end, so that 917 or close to $1 million is something that we anticipate. But hopefully we don't get to that threshold. We hope that it's less than that.
If I may add, the mine, and I agree with you, while the mine is bringing new employment opportunities to the area, what my concern, this is just my personal concern, is if a community is not equipped to offer amenities or offer opportunities to those families, sometimes those families decide to stay in Sahuarita or decide to stay in Tucson because it's not a bad commute. It's not a bad commute. And the families have far more access to things. So I really hope that as a community, we start thinking of ways to enhance our community with services so that then we can really attract not just people that are going to use us to come in and work and then head back home.
I agree. Yeah. And the last thing, bus rotation, how was that decision made to put the bus rotation on hold?
Given the drop in enrollment that we're expecting and the number of buses that we have purchased in the last 5 years consecutively, we feel that putting the bus rotation on pause for 1 year should not impact the transportation department.
And our fleet's up and running? It's decent? Okay. And how many buses were we supposed to purchase this year?
We do one regular, one spec.
Okay. At a cost?
$100,000 for the 84 passenger bus and $150,000 for the truck.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I got.
That's it.
Yeah, and also with the capital, Mr. Beach, one of the things that was very difficult is because the lawsuit that's still continuing on with the school facilities board, that's not been settled yet, and so the capital fund has not been replenished or increased like it should be, and we've been utilizing it. So the other thing that some districts do is put that into M&O or and don't expend it on technology or textbooks. And you see what we're expending it on is making sure that our teachers have the best to be able to implement what they need to do in the classroom. So I know that you, as well as many of the other board members, were really adamant as we visited schools about having those interactive boards. And so that's one of the things that we're making sure we implement. Although we were hoping to go 25% per the schools, but now it's 20. So it'll be, instead of a 4-year plan, it's going to be a 5-year plan to implement so that everybody gets those interactive boards and be able to utilize those in the classroom.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. All right, Mr. René Ramirez.
Okay. Well, Mr. Verdugo, you've heard me say this before, that we really need to toot our horn more when it comes to dual enrollment. I believe firmly that if we did that, maybe we would bring up the numbers, which would, you know, maybe offset some of that money. We're talking about close to $1 million in loss for students that are going to other districts. Now, I know that you guys have really worked hard, and hats off to you. We've increased the enrollment, but we can do better. I really feel that we can do better. We can always do better. All of us in this room can always do better at every single thing that we do in our lives. And so I'm asking you to please toot your horn more when it comes to dual enrollment at Rio Rico High School. It's a great thing. Our kids are getting college credit for this. And the public needs to hear more about it, especially, you know, outside of our district. We're winning we know that people hear about it, but we need everybody to hear about it. We're not just talking about South, North as well. Everybody needs to hear that our kids are getting college credit. Nobody else has a dual enrollment program like District 35. And I say that with all the confidence of the world. And we need to make people understand that really, really well. Because if we do, we can cut down on that almost $1 million that we're losing as a consequence of loss of enrollment. And it's kind of like the way you guys say that, there are never any excuses for teaching and when teachers, and no matter what kind of demographics you have. Well, there are no excuses for the loss of enrollment either, I believe. That's not to be critical of you. You guys, you're a good friend, Mr. Verdugo, beyond the superintendent and my colleague. It's just that I know that we can do better. And I know that if I ask you to, I know that you'll work hard at it, just like you did. It came to the awards for teachers when they leave, the recognition we give them. You really get an A++ on those kinds of things. I know that you'll chalk it down. No, you take it to heart and you'll work harder at it. So I feel, again, that we can do better there. And it's not just the high school with the dual enrollment, because poor Dago's always getting hit, hard with just the responsibility. It's the other schools too. They need to let the public know all the great things that they're doing. Because we got great kids that are academic and athletic from the middle school on down. And the public needs to hear more about the great things that SAVUSD 35 is doing. That's the first thing that I have to say. Second one is quite a burning question, and that's for Isela, which are the ramifications of the loss from the county treasurer, put it lightly, is that going to affect our budget in any way?
So none of the ramifications as we know them today from the actions of the previous county treasurers have been factored in our budget. And they have not had any impact on our operation of our district.
What have we done with respect to trying, now that we know that monies were lost on undeveloped lots, what have we done to recapture that money so that we can help our budget in the future?
Mr. Ramirez, that is in the hands of our attorneys.
I'm not talking about what happened in the past. I'm talking about now that they know what's going on.
We need to wait for what the attorneys are going to, the final determination of what's going to happen.
What's happened since then up to now?
So right now, the law is parked in our litigation recovery fund, which is Fund 565. And if you look at our cash report today, that fund shows a negative of 12-point-some million. Okay? We have only received one installment, one payment, one payback from the county. And we have deposited that in that same fund, which reduced our initial loss allocation of $14+ million down to 12-point-some million. Those are the only actions that have transpired since then, outside of what the attorneys are working with the county.
Well, for the record, I feel there's whoever's responsible, because they've been fighting back and forth between state and the county. I don't care who's responsible. They should make us whole for all that's worth, on a side note. But getting back to the budget. So there's some things that I feel kind of awkward to discuss, but they have to be discussed. It's like the elephant in the room. We used to discuss the raises for admin versus teachers separately. And now we group it all into one basket, which makes it hard on the governing board and not just on the governing board, but it's going to draw criticism because people are going to say, well, you're doing this tactfully so the governing board members can't say no to either group without affecting one or the other. You understand what I mean? So like if we wanted to say that we were critical and we say, all right, 4% for a person who makes, just for argument's sake, $120,000 versus 4% for a person who makes $50,000. It's quite a difference. It's a discrepancy of what we're talking about. What, $48,000? Something of the sort. So one makes, let's see, at 4%, what, 20 That's 20 grand more versus, no, I'm sorry, 4% at 2,000 versus what? 4,800? So there's a 2,800 discrepancy. That's what it is. That's a big discrepancy. And if we want, as the governing board, want to say, hey, you know, maybe you guys should deserve 3.5 or whatever the case is. I mean, honestly, with me, I don't care. If we have the money and we can do it, let's do it. Okay? But I'm just saying theoretically, if we wanted to discuss it like we used to in the past, and I remember Mr. Beach disagreed with everybody. He voted against it in the past once, as he followed his conscience. God bless him, you know? But we discussed them separately. And now we can't do that, because if we want to do that, then we're going to cut the teachers out of 4% raise if we say no. And we throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's not cool. That limits us as governing board members as to our decision.
Mr. Ramirez, you're not limited. You can change any motion that you like. I mean, so that it's on there for a recommendation of 4%, but you can pull anything you want out of that proposal and say if you would like to give. I mean, it's up for discussion once it's on the agenda, so you can decide however you want to. I mean, this is again the recommendation from us, and you know I don't want to get too deep into what each individual brings to the school district, but I mean, what we're giving a 4% across the board because that's what we feel is appropriate. But if the board feels differently, you can discuss that and change anything you'd like.
Okay, well, Mr. Lugo, at this point I don't, but I'm just saying in the future, I would strongly recommend that we have them on a separately on the agenda. Because again, people are going to come back at you. They're going to be critical of you. I mean, it's no sweat off my back, you know. You guys are the ones that are going to be held accountable. They're going to say, you guys grouped it because you want to make sure that, you know, the governing board sure as heck is not going to vote against a pay raise for teachers, especially when it's comprised of 3 teachers. I doubt seriously they're going to vote against a raise for a teacher. Hey, but you're right. We could do that. You're right, but it makes it a lot easier, Mr. Verdugo, if we have them separate on the agenda. I'm only asking. You don't want to do it? You want to keep going this way? So be it, but there's going to be a lot of criticism. Because I guarantee you, I won't be the only one who discusses that or feels that way. There are going to be a lot of people who feel strongly. So we'll let it die because I know everybody wants to get out of here. And again, I don't begrudge anybody a raise. I really don't. We have the money, we can do it. Wonderful. Everybody deserves a raise as far as I'm concerned. We got the money, great. And by the way, you do a great job of making sure that we have the money. Isela, hats off to you. Like Mr. Beach said, we couldn't keep going on if it weren't for you doing the fiscal, you know, rainy day fund without it even being imposed upon you. So I know that. I learned that after my first year when you told me we don't do that anymore. So, but I'm sorry, Mr. Verdugo, I know. I didn't mean to rub you the wrong way.
No, not at all. Again, you know, we bring the recommendation, and it's up to the board to make the final decision. We make the recommendation, and you're the ones that make the decision.
All right, the message was heard loud and clear. Good enough. We'll move on. So, with regard to the buses, do we still have buses that have more than 500,000 miles on? I mean, because once somebody told me that in here, and I was floored, I almost fell off my chair. I thought, well, Methuselah must have ridden on one of those, you know.
Dr. Linderville may be able to answer that.
Yeah, maybe Dr. Linderville can answer.
I'd rather not say we don't, and we do. So if I can send that as an FYI, I can send you the fleet. I can say that between the district's dedication to the replacement schedule, along with the grant that we received a few years ago, we have been able to replace, I believe, upwards of 5 buses. And that's, I don't know any other district that's been able to do that recently, but I definitely can send you the fleet, the age, and the mileage.
And I remember there was some discussion about
Yeah, the infrastructure, that we did look at potentially going with electric buses. However, given our community and the miles that our buses drive, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because they can only go a certain distance, and then then they just shut down. Also with the hills, it makes it challenging to have the electric, but we did look into that. It was just not cost effective given our terrain.
More practical. All right, what else here? Oh, so, you know, we talked about the basketball, the stuff that we're buying for basketball, the boards, you know, the shot clock and all that kind of thing. I love hoops just as much as anybody here, but I was wondering, is there any way that we could look into buying somebody else's, some rich district stuff, you know, on the cheap? Is there any way of doing that?
In school districts, all school districts have to follow the disposal procedure where they have to put their items on auction. When they get rid of their stuff. In my experience, when school districts get rid of things, that's because they are way past their useful life. We hardly ever get rid of anything that
Yeah, and also just to clarify, part of that is that it was requested by athletics as a possible revenue generator because they now, if we add those scoreboards, they are looking to host tournaments like we do with soccer, which our soccer tournament has increased and began to generate revenue for teams coming into our community. And so one of the holdbacks from our gym was being able to host it because of the shot clocks only working on one side or not working at all, which is now a requirement by AIA as well. And then the video board also, we expend funds annually for the welcome back, and we were trying to alleviate some of that by having the video board in place. So it's something that hopefully will generate some revenue in the future, as well as save money from the welcome back ceremony.
Mr. Verdugo, would that generate, money generated, go into the general fund or just that specific sports program?
It goes into the general athletics. And so that's one of the things that, you know, all athletics go into the general, and when they're, you know, even for instance, when we hold the Calabasas Guatemala game this year, generated some revenue for their programs at the middle school. And so it's something that we're able to, again, use our facilities to make some revenue.
it goes into what is called the auxiliary fund. A fund that is prescribed by the USFR to collect any fees that we charge. So that's where it would be deposited. How we can use the auxiliary fund, it's pretty much like the operating fund, but it has to be deposited into the auxiliary fund.
Yeah, and also, I know with wrestling, Mr. Beach as well, we would love to host a tournament for wrestling as well. And I think having our facilities be top notch is attractive to communities to come in to be in our area. So if we can host wrestling tournaments, we can host you know, basketball tournaments, boys, girls, volleyball. That's the other. We've now increased the ability to have volleyball in both gyms. They have the nets so that we can have multiple games going on at one time. So trying to be a host and generate revenue is something that we're really working towards.
Thank you.
I had one more question with regard to M&O, the carryover of M&O versus capital. About $6 million there. No, 7 million for, of course, for M&O, 1 million. That's what I said. The discrepancy is $6 million. Why is there such a big discrepancy between the savings for M&O and capital?
Because in M&O, when we were having you mentioned the ESSER dollars, we increase our reserves. So that's why we have that kind of money there. Also, the allocation that we get from the state in M&O dollars versus capital dollars, it's completely different. So we get by far more operating funds than the amount of capital funds that we received annually. So to give you an idea, the M&O allocation is about $30 million. Our total capital fund, $2 million. That's how different they are. That's formula driven.
Mr. Verdugo, I know I've asked you this before, and I think the answer is a flat no, but I'm going to ask again, which is there any way to convert the M&O into capital?
For one-time purchases and things of that nature, it could, but it's not recommended. You know, again, as you look at enrollment, one of the other reasons that we've been able to increase the M&O or maintain M&O is because ESSER funds, we had positions in there, also enrollment. And so enrollment, we are projecting again, close to $1 million, but this year, it was, 65 students. So that cut that number significantly. So it was, 500,000 instead of $1 million. So that money goes right back into M&O and allows us to right size and give raises because, I know you're talking about raises, but there's not many districts across the state that I've been talking to that are going to be able to give a raise other than possibly a 2% inflation increase,
appreciate that.
or
Yeah.
no increase at all.
I appreciate that very much. And I know you guys work hard at that. One last question to do with July 4th, you said, and you'll be more concerned July 4th when people register their little ones for kindergarten and so forth. So suppose that somehow or another we make up some of those numbers. What do we do with the funds then?
Those were contingencies.
Contingency, okay. Can it be spent for
Absolutely.
the following fiscal year?
And that's how we're able to build a reserve forward to the next year. And we can fund initiatives, and we can fund a salary increase. And then we build right size, so we don't have to do anything drastic.
Thank you, Mr. Verdugo, for taking those tough questions and for all that you guys do, you and your team, to, be the good stewards of our community's funds. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, I got a little excited.
No.
I come across strongly sometimes.
We always appreciate the questions. It's something that people have questions and we're happy to answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the work that goes into putting a budget like this together, especially, zero-based budget. It's a lot of work. So thank you for that. And I appreciate that you're conservative with it, right? Because of that, we're able to have conversations like the conversation that Mr. Ramirez brought up. So it's great that we're looking at raises instead of the other, right? The latter, which is what we don't want to have. So I really appreciate that. And, it's awesome that we're able to bring the bus drivers' pay off. And that is pretty awesome. They have one of the most important jobs, for making sure the kids get here safely and back home safely. So it's appreciated. Thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, you took everything out of, that I was gonna say, but yeah, I'm very happy with the increase and that the matrix was changed for the bus drivers, because those are the ones that are always, the left behind and all that stuff. And again, thank you for everything you do. You always, you make things look so easy, and I know they're not, and I know that you've got all your strategies and your visions, and like, like Mr. Beach was saying, you don't look at today and tomorrow, you look at 5 years from now and whatever, and everything. And we are in a place that we are, I'm gonna say comfortable, but and I know that sometimes, it's shaky and whatever, but I know that you're there, and that we're there because of what the conversations that you and Mr. Verdugo have, and your vision, and your, the strategies that you have, and that you understand, everything that's coming or everything that's not coming, and stuff. So, I mean, kudos to you and to your team and to everybody. I mean, everything looks really good, and I'm hoping that we do get more students, if that's the case, people, you guys need to have more babies. Come on, we need to, Mr. Beach, what's up? I know you're on, he's got 5 already grandkids that are in our district really soon, so that's amazing, okay? But yeah, but it is what it is, but thank you so very much. And I am all for it also with the 4% I want it more, okay? But I know that we can do as much as we can, and you can't, squeeze blood out of a rock. So, I know, and I understand that. So thank you so very much for everything that you do, and that we're always, our teachers, our students, the safety and everything, that's our priority. And that's why we have such a good district out the way we have it. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Stella. You
Thank
do an
you.
awesome job.
Thank you, really. Alrighty, so do we do now?
No.
We don't do anything, we just continue, right? Okay, so then moving on, the superintendent's report, Miss Dr. Lunderville.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to make the board aware that The area of shade structures has been on the agenda for quite a while, and actually we have 3 projects in the works, and I just wanted to make the board aware of those. The first is an additional shade structure at Calabasas on the middle school side, in that big area that's where the field and the lighting is, near the basketball courts. Mr. Chavez has been working with the vendor to select the school colors. Many of you may have seen that the facelift over there is coming along. It looks really nice. Now that a lot of the fence has been painted, that really has made a huge difference. So that in conjunction with adding some shade, I think will be beneficial. I know that a lot of our community youth groups use that field because it is lighted. So and then we also are adding kind of a pickup line Ramada shade structure at San Cayetano. Right now, there's a lot of open space out there, and when students have to get picked up, they're just out in the open. So if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's windy, if it's lightning, they aren't able to do that. So we added that. And then finally, the aquatic center is getting 2 additional shade structures. And that will start, all of these projects will be completed before June 30th, but I wanted to make the board aware that we have moved forward with the shade structure fund. And then athletics, sports are kind of in the mid, almost coming to the end on playoffs. Our girls tennis team, I just wanted to note, is currently ranked 14th. That's an all-time high, I believe, for our girls tennis team. That's a fairly new program for us, but we're really proud of the progress that the coach and the girls have been. So, that as well. So that's all, Madam President. Mr. Verdugo, I don't know if you have any comments that I missed that you would like to share?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So moving.
Nice to hear your voice again there, Melissa. You've been pretty quiet for a while.
All righty, moving on.
That business of the shade structures, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm really happy with all of that. They're very excited, long overdue.
Needed.
Very much needed, absolutely. So our governing board member report, Ms. Alma de la Riva.
Excuse me, yes, I had the honor and the pleasure of attending Rio Rico High School's military ball this past Friday. I want to extend my congratulations to the JROTC program for putting the event together. It was just excellent. I myself had never been, anything like that event. It was not only pleasant, it was very educational. So, and it's my understanding that it was actually the students that planned the whole event, from table settings, decorations, lunch, dinner options, just everything was done by JROTC students. So I just want to extend my big, huge congratulations to them, because I feel they did an awesome job. And thank you to Lieutenant Colonel Roque for extending the invitation to us. And I look forward to attending again next year. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much, Mr. Brad Beach.
Yes, appreciate all the teachers, principals, counselors. We just got done with a lot of testing, and I know how stressful that is. And so congrats to everybody. Hopefully everything ran smoothly. And we're going down to 5 weeks of school. So I know there's a lot of ceremonies going on, a lot of stress. Just finish strong, push through. Okay. And just like Ms. De La Riva, went to the military ball, and just the customs, the protocol, what was it, the empty table?
Oh, yeah.
Soldier,
Yeah.
and all the 200-300 years that they've been in existence, these customs have been passed down generational. So it's very impressive. And is it Lieutenant Colonel or Colonel Roque?
I think it's
Lieutenant Colonel.
I think it's Lieutenant Colonel.
Okay, and First Sergeant Moore, I believe, right?
Yes, correct.
Whew, I didn't demote him.
No.
All right. But congrats to both them for overseeing that program, and the ROTC students for doing such an amazing job with that night. I've talked to several of them recently, and they said they had a blast. They danced Once the board members left, I guess they were doing the stanky leg out there and getting
Oh,
ready.
yeah.
Yeah, but, congrats to that program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Rene Ramirez.
Yeah, he stole my thunder with regard to the testing and the stress, so I won't even mention that. But I want to highlight Mi Renteria because I couldn't help but notice that you're going to leave San Cayetano. So I just want to thank you for all that you've done at San Cayetano. You probably thought nobody would notice that you're slipping away there and moving to Rio Rico High School, but I did. I saw that you're leaving, and I want to say that you've done excellent work. I remember you as a student, what an excellent student you were. And, you know, you have a beautiful mind and you have a real good way with words. And you have a heart of gold, you know, a heart as big as your head. And that I think is wonderful because that rubbed off on all your kids. I always saw it. Maybe I didn't mention it so much because, you know, we have to put a little pressure on you. But I also want to tell you that if I ever did anything to put too much pressure on you or offend you, that I'm deeply sorry for it because I was your teacher and I still care about you as my fellow student. But you're a young woman now with that great mind, that great spirit. Don't ever change. You've done great things in your life. Okay? And I want to see you keep doing that. You're really lucky that you're going to have her there with you. You know, not only are you guys really good and smart, spirited, but I was the one that mentioned your class. I was the one who mentioned your class, how great your class was. There are a lot of bright people in that class. And, you know, you can say all you want that, well, every class has its bright people, but sometimes you have a big group of them, you know, just like sometimes you could have crop failure too. So, but
Younger.
I know, but still, you guys are right in there. Still are going with him. I mentioned him when I switched back to him and told him about his class. So I understand that. Don't worry. I know you're younger. So I haven't lost it yet. But no, your class is really great. And you guys have done wonderful things. And it's not true that every class is the same. It's not. I've taught long enough to know that that's not true. Sometimes you get these people that come along and they're really phenomenal. Their classes are full. They're replete with really smart and spirited people. So, and Jonathan, you've done great things too. But I mean, I could just go on and on, the people in your class. So, Mimi, getting back to you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done. And I wish you nothing but all the best in the world. And that the Lord always follow you in everything that you say and you do. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I also had the pleasure of attending the JROTC ball, and it was great. They did an amazing job, and we had a great time, and we enjoyed seeing all the customs and all that stuff. So it was awesome to attend. That's all I have.
That's
Thank
all
you.
you have. Alrighty, thank you very much. Again, I was there too, but I've been there before. This was my third or fourth year that I've gone. And every year it just seems to get better and better. And I think the last couple of years since what is it? Lieutenant Rocco has been there. He has been implementing the right way. That's what he was telling me. I said, why is this different? I said, because we were in years in the past, we would set up in a different way and whatever. But he says it because they were doing it wrong. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So, so it was, the kids are the ones that lead it. The kids are the ones that do everything. And, the food was amazing. Everybody got, whatever they ordered, because we had the opportunity to order, this time. And in the past, it wasn't like that. And they decorated and everything. And the kids started dancing even before, we had left, they were over there, with the band or whatever, and with the DJ, and everything went so smooth. Everything was and you get to, like you said, it's a learning experience because these are things that we don't know that they do, right, Mr. Beach? Because, those are the things that you did because you're military wise and stuff, and it comes back and the kids already have like a firsthand of what to expect, when they do. And we had a couple of kids that were moving on and they were going into the military also. Yeah, which I think it was Navy. I think there was a couple of kids that were gonna go to the Navy. Last year, there were a lot more kids that were going into the service, you know, and stuff. And you really are proud of all these kids, of everything they do, because they take, you know, their job, what they're doing, heart. I mean, they're just, you know, they're just so, you know, disciplined and everything. So hats off to Lieutenant Colonel Roku and to who's the other one? I don't Moore. Sergeant Moore. He's a sergeant. I don't remember. First Sergeant Moore. Okay, I mean, he did, I mean, really, really good. It was excellent. It was excellent, excellent. Back to the teachers and everybody that you guys are testing, you know, finally, you know, we're done with that. We're almost moving forward and all of that. There are a bunch of things that are still there. There's some things that are testing. I'm not gonna talk about that one because, you know, apparently last time I didn't mention Rio Rico High School, but it is, you know, that the kids are, you know, when you get credit for college, you know, it's usually from the high school. So, but I will mention that one next time. But just you know, we gotta hang in there, guys. This is our last little stretch, and you know, thank you to all of the principals and everything that they do. Mimi, you know, good luck in your, you know, in your moving forward, and you know, and everything. So I'm just really proud of everybody, and thank you for everything that everybody does, you know, for our kids and for our community. Thank you. Okay, information, moving on, information, discussion, action, San Cayetano Elementary School Principal, Dr. Lunderville.
Good evening again. As you are all aware, Ms. Renteria has accepted and the board has accepted her transfer to Rio Rico High School on the previous board agenda. Therefore, we posted for the San Cayetano Elementary principal job. We had a total of 4 applicants, and there were, we put together a committee of 6 individuals, including teachers at the site, classified staff, and district level program directors. And so the committee is recommending Ms. Vanessa Alegria Rivas as the next principal. So I'd like to go ahead and invite her up. This is an action item, so the board could either make a motion or ask questions beforehand and or do it during your discussion.
Do you guys want to make the motion first? Or do you want to ask questions?
What do you want, Madam President?
Okay, so then I think we'll have the, anybody have a motion?
Move to approve Mrs. Vanessa Alegria Rivas as the new principal at San Cayetano Elementary School as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Discussions? We have to discuss first? Okay, discussions, Ms. De La Riva.
No, just, I think before I say congratulations, we will need to,
Yeah, that's what I thought, so.
approve.
Yeah, you can approve it as if you'd like to do that beforehand.
Okay,
Well,
can we?
I would like to discuss it because we opened it already, so.
I'm sorry, I would like to do, okay, so I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Protocol.
That's okay, you did it the right way.
Okay, all righty, Ms. De La Riva?
Well, I just want to say congratulations. It's I'm so very happy personally, I'm so very happy for you, and I know you will do you will do an awesome job. So congratulations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beach.
Yeah, Ms. Rivas, I always saw you at the other school. It's gonna be sort of weird seeing you over there at San Cayetano, but you're from the area, you know our system. I'm excited to see you move into that position, the principal position. It's a loss for John Chavez and Calabasas, the staff and students over there. But you're gonna do an outstanding job. We're really looking forward to your leadership over there. And thank you, Mimi, for all you did for that school. It is a loss, but you know, the reshuffling happens, and you're gonna do an amazing job at CTE, and yeah, so congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah, you don't get off so easy with me, because I'm going to ask you something. Well, I'm glad you got a sense of humor. That's a great start. No, I'm only joking. I would just like to hear what your dreams are and aspirations for the school, because I'm sure that not only the people in this room, but the public would probably like to hear, whoever's out there listening to us,
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Linderville, Mrs. Brown. I have a clear vision for San Cayetano, obviously build on the foundations that Ms. Renteria has already established, as it is a strong school. Build on those foundations and make sure that we continue with our parental engagement, building relationships with the teachers, the students, the families, and continue to bring in the community and stakeholders to support us and see the great things that have already been established, as well as the growth that we have. I've been very much involved in working with Mrs. Renteria, as well as looking at the data that they have. And I just want to make sure that every student every day is heard, is listened to, and they are taken into account, that they're known, they're seen, and that they're valued, because that's why we're here, right? Because of our students, and they are a priority, that they're safe, that they have that academic growth and support that they need. And look at the whole child, not only the academic and their safety, but also the social and emotional, because I know that we have in every school, such as Calabasas, we have students that need that extra emotional support because of whatever they are dealing with. And so just look at the whole child and the whole family.
It's awesome.
Continue to move forward.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
What would you just, what is it about you that you're gonna put your stamp on there that you are excited about?
I'm just very excited for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I've been working 28 years within the field in order to grow, to get to where the opportunity that you guys are giving me. My stamp is just, make sure that I do what's best for them and keep that excitement and enthusiasm and build the culture, right? Continue to strengthen the culture so that everybody feels they're supported and valued. So just building those relationships and making sure that the door is open, and whatever parents and staff members need, that I'm there to listen to them and support them in whatever they need.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's a humor.
Hey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Guerrero?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for your 28 years.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. And secondly, I look forward to just seeing you more and getting to know you a little bit better. And we look forward to the great things that you bring. And I appreciate the question, because it gives me personally some insight on a little bit about you. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
No, thank you again. We've worked together, so I know that you are a very strong person that's going into that position. I think you're gonna do a fantastic job. I'm worried about Jonathan. What's gonna happen, Jonathan? No, I'm sure that I know that, there's gonna be big shoes to fill and stuff, but, we'll get somebody to go, over there. And I know that you're gonna bring in your enthusiasm and your personality and your you into that position. So, not taking anything away from her, absolutely not. She's going in, and you know what? Change is good. I think that we mature, we grow as we change. So I think change is going to be good for her as well as for you, but I'm still worried about Jonathan. Okay. But, Jonathan, you give me a call. Okay. I go visit you. Okay. But thank you for everything. He'll be fine. I know he will, but still, congratulations. And I'm looking forward to all the good things that you're going to be doing. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity. I know that it's a tough thing to decide on, because you're entrusting a person with the students, the staff, and helping the students academically and helping everybody grow. So I know how big this opportunity is. I am very honored. I'm being excited. I'll be honest. I'm scared, but I'm very excited. And I know that with my colleagues, I know with Mr. Chavez, obviously, I'm not even gonna go there without crying. But Margo and Mimi, of course, my person that has pushed me to do this, to apply, because I was kind of hesitant. And I know that Dominic and Rebecca, I can always give them a call. Absolutely. And be there. I know that this is a very tight-knit group, and they collaborated with each other at TLA, with Meg, and so I know that I have that support. I will be calling Misela very soon so that she can show me the ropes with budgeting and finance, because I know that that's an area that I haven't been privy to learn, but I know that I can't go wrong if I work with her. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you to all my colleagues that have been, have made me, especially the ladies that are here from the front office to support me, and our counselor. They're just amazing people. And a part of me is being ripped away from Calabasas, right? But I'll always have that little special piece there because they are what has helped me grow more into this leadership role. So right now I'm ready to fly and become a cheetah.
Absolutely. That's
John,
great.
hopefully they don't move with you.
Yeah.
No, give them another tissue.
Yeah,
It'll be hard because as you all know,
Yeah.
Travis and I have been working together for 6 years and we made Calabasas what it is. And it's been hard work. It's been sweat, tears and emotions. But we've made it what it is. So thank you, John, for those opportunities and allowing me to be your right hand and sometimes left foot. And
Uh-huh.
but well, I'll still be picking your brain.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And that's a good thing, that you guys have is those relationships, like you were saying, that that you can pick up the phone and call anybody and anybody that you call is gonna steer you in the right direction. And if that person can't do it for whatever the reason, which I don't think, there's always somebody else that you can call. So
It's a core of it all.
absolutely. And that's why we have such a strong, the school system. So that's fantastic. All righty. So does anybody have a possible motion?
We had a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Hopefully it's here. I'm pretty nervous. I have my aunt, retired educator as well. My oldest daughter, which is 32 years old. Which is 10-year-old and she's at Calabasas. My aunt, I have parents, but I do have my core, which are my aunts and the reason why I am where I am.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, then moving on, salary increase, Ms. Lunderville, Dr. Lunderville, sorry.
And there also is was sent out with the board packet recommending a 4% increase for all eligible certified administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, classified exempt and classified non-exempt employees, aside from those who are being reclassified, if their reclassification is higher.
Alrighty, so then do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the 4% salary increase for all eligible certified administrators, teachers, professionals, classified exempt staff, and classified non-exempt employees for the 2026-2027 fiscal year as presented, except for employees whose position is being reclassified will receive whichever is higher.
Moved.
Second.
Okay. You don't have to discuss, do we? Do we have any discussion? No. None? Any discussion? Mr. Ramirez?
No, I'm just happy that that we have the money to do this and again, I don't begrudge anybody a raise as long as we have the money and you guys have done a fantastic job, especially you, Stella, making sure that we could always do this. Thank God that we're one of the few districts in the state that. can do something.
Very few.
Yes.
Very few.
Mr. Verdugo made a great point and I appreciate it, Mr. Verdugo. And again, my apologies came across harshly. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Guerrero.
None.
None? I have none either, just thank you, and again, the same thing. Now, I'm very happy that our employees, everybody across the board are going to be able to get a little bit, of a raise, and that always makes a difference, in us, because we feel as an employee, we feel valued and we feel important, and that everything that we do, people are watching, people are, giving us what we really deserve, and we are very competitive, and that's the way we want to be. So I appreciate it. So then, thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you very, very much. Moving on, 2026 political agenda approval, Dr. Lunderville.
I believe all of you have already been provided with the proposed political agenda from ASBA. It includes 5 different topics. And our recommendation is that the governing board approve the agenda as presented.
Presented, okay. Any discussion? Ms. Alma? None, Mr. B? Discussion, Mr. Ramirez?
Just 1 second.
Okay.
It's just something I wanted.
Uh-huh.
You know what, for the sake of time,
No,
no, I have nothing.
No, we haven't made the motion yet. This is the discussion first. Okay, do you have any discussion? No, of that one? No, I don't either. Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the 2026 political agenda of the Arizona School Boards Association as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Okay, moving on, Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District, proposed, policies. Dr. Lunderville?
Thank you. We do not have any proposed policies. However, you were provided with an FYI on procedure 5216, promotion and retention of students. If you have any questions related to that, certainly ask them now, but it does not require more.
Okay, all righty. Are there any questions on the procedures? Ms. Alejandra de la Riva? No? Mr.
No.
Beach? No? Mr. Ramirez?
Right, so.
No, but we don't have to, yeah, okay, yeah. Mr. Guerrero, no, I don't either. All right, so then, we don't have to, that's it, okay. Moving on, propose and prioritize topics as possible dates and times for future board meetings. Dr. Lunderville?
Madam President, many of you will start to receive emails and calendar invites from Lopez. She does that so that you're aware, but also all the future events that the board has received invitations to are listed below. And then anything that the board would like to be added.
Any future topics, Ms. Alejandra? None? Mr. Beach?
No.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, I'd like for us to have a discussion about the buses, or at least not a discussion, but at least as you had mentioned, Dr. Lunderville, if you could give us more information on the buses and.
Sure. Is an FYI sufficient? And then if.
Yeah, that FYI is sufficient.
I'll have that tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any future topics? Wait, continue, future events, future topics? No?
Like I say again, the shade structure, that's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Hear that one, that was great.
I'm very, very happy with that one. All right, so then we don't need anything for that. The consent agenda. Approval of the consent agenda as presented. Let me see. Motion to approve this, is that what I'm supposed to say?
Any matter on the consent agenda.
Okay, there we go. Any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed as regular agenda item or items upon the request of any board member. Ms. De La Riva, do you have any? None? Mr. Beach?
I have none.
None? Mr. Ramirez?
I have none.
No? Mr. Guerrero?
None.
I have none either. Okay. Now, do we have a motion? Do we have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we don't have any discussion, right? Do we have a discussion?
No, because.
I don't have anything.
You guys already did, right? Okay, so then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, ayes have it, motion passes, and we are adjourned. I adjourn this meeting at 6:58 PM. Thank you.
Thank you all.